Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody inside and outside the ballpark. My name is NovedPlayer, and welcome to episode 48 of the Noved Notes podcast, the Noved Notes podcast, where we talk about many different types of creators and communities inside of VRChat. I'm your host, and with me today, as you can kind of already see, I have a Helldiver with me, representing the Helldivers of VRChat, Josette. Josette,
Hello,
welcome to
hi.
the podcast.
Thank you for having me, my friend.
Yeah, of course. So I guess before we get into too far into detail, who exactly are you, and what exactly do you do inside of VRChat?
Okay. So I'm a completely new person to all this. This is my currently first year running a live-action roleplay community, aka the Helldivers of VRChat. And before this, I was just kind of a normal person, just playing VRChat, enjoying stuff with friends, and we started loving Helldivers because the game came out, and we just started this group.
Awesome. And I guess kind of to briefly explain, for maybe somehow the people out there in the audience don't necessarily know, what exactly is a Helldiver?
A Helldiver is the most peakest, pristine condition of a human being possible. They fight for democracy and only democracy, and they just love democracy. For Super Earth, of course.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, because I would say Helldivers 2 came out, let's see, what was it, earlier 2024 or sometime
February.
Yeah. February? Yeah, I would say it's kind of crazy to already see that there's such a, interest in VRChat when it comes to Helldivers as a, community. So, kind of, out of curiosity, what got, you into, VRChat in the first place?
What got me in the VRChat? This is the funniest story I always tell people. It was an impulse purchase on a random snow day. I was really bored and I saw a commercial for VR, and I was like, I'm gonna just get a VR headset. Why not just get in there? And now I'm here.
Fair enough. You just a random snow day, it's just
literally randomest snow day in February.
Fair enough. So, ironically enough, would you say that you got Helldivers before or after the VR?
Oh, 100% before. It was 3 years before.
Fair. So, yeah, you've been doing it for a while. So, I guess kind of, in kind of a retrospect, because you've been doing VR for a little bit now, what is something you've seen when it comes to VRChat that you think is, very, one of the coolest things that you've seen when it comes to the VRChat?
The roleplay scene, honestly. It's actually why I wanted to start this in the first place with my friends. And even this whole group started as just a joke at one point, and then we just had the idea to do a roleplay because the models were there, the interest was there, but no other groups were doing it, so why not just try it out, see what happens?
No, fair enough. I mean, that's honestly how a lot of groups start. They start out as a small friend group, and then it just kind of, has an idea and becomes kind of an event type thing, and it kind of just goes bigger and bigger. So that's cool that, you guys kind of follow the same timeline in that regard. One of the questions I do wanted to ask, so, for the general listening audience, what is a typical event for the Helldivers of VRC?
So we obviously like to try to do stuff out every week. We currently have been on the social RP train, but our main shtick is 2 hours of just insane war sim roleplay. We have the Helldivers drop in, the actual in-game missions. We have the NPCs, which are automatons, and whatever the hell else we throw at the Helldivers. And then we just have an overall good time Friday and Saturday.
Fair enough. So do you guys typically normally keep to a weekend event type thing?
Yeah, very much a weekend type event thing. Mostly because the admins and myself have a lot of work during the week.
Fair enough. We all got busy lives, as we all say.
Tell me about it.
Well, that's cool. I'll say it's definitely cool that you guys got a set schedule type thing. So what type of events do you guys do? Do you guys just do specifically war sim, or do you have more casual events? What are some of the types of events that you guys do?
Okay, so we've done many in the past. We've done, obviously, the main shtick of ours is war sim. We've done milsim type deals where we do patrols leading into a conflict, a passive in the conflict, as my friends call it, where we have just a bunch of people go over through social roleplay leading into a big threat coming into the scene. Or we also have horror themed role plays where it's these big anomalies or strong, like what, really anything we could put into the Helldivers, and they just go at it. They try to kill that thing, or they try to run from that thing, or survive that thing, or just follow an objective that overall leads to a bigger motive.
Awesome, man. I'll say, so out of curiosity, because you guys did exhibit at this year's HorrorCon. So kind of to go into, or this past year's HorrorCon, I should say, 2024. So out of curiosity, what type of, you said you did horror one, so what exactly, like, kind of go in depth with, like, what exactly does a horror event
some of the examples?
Yeah.
Okay, so so I'll give you a canon one and then a non-canon one that we did.
Sure.
We did a normal canon one within our custom storyline, where we have these amalgamations called Fallen, and these Fallen are just Helldivers that have been brought back up from the dead, basically, with robotic parts organizing themselves within the Helldivers' bodies, being controlled by this one guy. And we had this mission where they were on a ship, a completely black and red ship, like Alien Andromeda type darkness. And the whole mission was them trying not to die against automatons, Fallen, everything.
I gotcha.
And then we had this silly little mission where Thief members, which is the lower common guard for Super Earth in terms of lore, we had the Thief go against this damn Slender Man, of all things. There were punctures about a base, and the whole mission was to collect the pages. As the Slender Man, as people were Slender Man, different NPCs, just going at it at people, jump scaring them. It was great.
Hell yeah. No, that's really cool. So I guess kind of, in that spec, because you're, using other IPs in that regard for those events. So would you say, some of your events are more like, I know this is a weird way to phrase this, I'm well aware, but I would say, would you say it's kind of a more open metaverse ideal that goes into the Helldivers like universe essentially, or is it?
I got you. Yeah. So our whole idea is, other than our main canon events, what could possibly, like how the actual CEO thinks of collabs, what would make sense for the Helldivers to go against with if it went to different IPs? I mean, we have many on the idea list right now. We have Alien, obviously, it's kind of a main one. A few others we had was War of the World, because the Illuminate. The Mist, or Eight-Legged Freaks for Terminids. A lot of different scenarios where we take those really cool ideas we've seen in movies and try to recreate them in VRChat as 2-hour horror experiences. And then we also just have the main ones, which are just combat related, trying not to die, work with your team style combat.
Fair enough. No, that's really cool, because that leads you guys to definitely be more, it's essentially will be an infinite content in that regard, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Infinite content, yeah, correct.
Yeah,
as much content as VRChat allows.
Right, of course. Right, yeah, you gotta be careful on that regard. But no, that's really cool. So I guess, because I know you guys are more, for the most part, at least from what I've been hearing around the grapevine, you guys are more a casual, relating, a role play community. You guys aren't like super serious in that regard.
I can go on hours about that claim. So to start us off, we don't have the normal milsim stuff that other groups may have. We're very unique in terms of what we like to do. Because in actual Helldiver lore, none of that happens. It's a very goofy game in terms of lore, like Starship Troopers goes. So we don't have the ranks, we don't have the PTs, we don't have any of that sorts. We're just dropping them in.
It's just, here you go, have fun.
Yeah, literally. And that, in my opinion, is much more interesting and intriguing, because not only is it less time to be more serious, but it's a lot more time to build story and character with what you're dealing with in the actual roleplay. Because these are actual full-on missions that we do, with the whole, like, the roller coaster, of just emotions. We make sure that it has a story that starts off, gets the big tension, the big reveal sometimes, or it's not even a big, it's a turnaround, and then the ending escape sequence.
Fair enough. No, that's really cool. Because as somebody, and I'm very uncultured, I'm well aware. As somebody who's like never played Helldivers, this is it's a very cool thing to kind of learn about and learn more about. So kind of to go a little bit more in depth into that, because we talked about how it's like using different IPs across different brands and stuff. So one of the questions I wanted to ask you as the owner, is it easy for you guys to find worlds and stuff to use for your role plays, or is it a little bit more difficult?
We have a full Discord channel of worlds we can use. We were just before this interview, we were just looking at worlds to do this week's events because we're off break now, so we're actually getting back into the swing of things for this year's starting content. But very rarely we have that problem because just IRL busyness gets in the way. IRL first, we'll play later, as we say. But usually it's never really a problem. It's what's actually happening is the problem. And what I notice, at least, within the group. Because we are new. We're a fresh batch of DMs, leaders, everything. So learning how to actually storytell is one of my critical things that I'm working on improving.
I gotcha. No, and that's really cool. So out of curiosity, so with you guys being a newer group, what are some of the ways you guys have personally like went about like advertising your group or like gone out into VRChat and made headway?
Okay. So I couldn't have done this without my team, first off. You have the big giants, like my admins. You have Slendy Plays, which is a very prominent member in the roleplay scene. He does the story mainly. He does some model work, map work, etc. Then you have, honestly, the most biggest way we've gotten traction, Letric. Letric is the main avatar maker for all of the automatons and future models that are canon in terms of Helldivers. And literally in the description, it's made for the Helldivers of VRChat because we like to not gatekeep people to see these cool creations that this guy made. And hey, if you want to use it, then use it in an actual unique scene. And obviously we have a recruiting booth that it's actually on the model. It's the HorrorCon booth put onto a model, and we just go around just legitimately role-playing like Helldivers, just recruiting people like Helldivers. Like, hey, you want to fight for democracy, possibly show your worth and show your status as a true Helldiver? And then bada bing, bada boom, they get in, they experience it, whether they like it or not. It's just a fun time.
No, fair enough. I mean, yeah, because you guys said you started pretty recently when it comes to your community, and you guys have already over 3,200 members as we're recording this episode. So no, that's absolutely crazy that you guys have grown so much in such a short time. Now I guess one of the questions I want to ask in that regard, do you think it might also be because of the whole, having Helldivers of VRC, or do you think that didn't play a role at all in the fact? Because I mean, Helldivers 2 is a pretty popular game. I'm just getting genuinely curious.
Okay. Yeah. So probably. I would assume that the tag Helldivers is a pretty dominant thing, because imagining seeing that in VR is a interesting topic by itself. I mean, you have countless crazy fan creations in like the other VR scenes, like the VR games. It's more or less how we handle things and how we treat our community is what I feel like is what's most striving for people to come and at least try us out.
Yeah, of course. No, absolutely. And it's definitely, a really cool thing that what you guys going in that regard. So kind of to go into that a little bit, because as the new year has finally hit us in 2025, and you guys are just coming off of like a semi hiatus, what are some of the things that the general VRChat community can look forward to when it comes to the Helldivers of VRC this year?
More professionalism. Overall, way more models, worlds, experiences. Hopefully, we're looking to actually try to get in contact with the Arrowhead devs, the people who made Helldivers 2 at some point. We're really wanting to do something with them. At least, whether it's model expansion or world creativity, whatever it may be, we really want to get in contact with them in some way. Also, Project, HorrorCon, the usual stuff. And just overall way more intense fights.
Oh, hell yeah. No, I mean, definitely some cool things, and there'll be footage over the screen when we talk about some of the different events. So I was gonna say, kind of to go into a deep dive of things when it comes to the events, because we talked about like what type of events you
Mm.
guys do and how they generally roll out. But what is an example of like an event like from start to finish? Just to kind of give the general audience kind of a general
Mm-hmm.
perspective about like from
Okay.
start to finish of how an event goes.
So I have okay. So the prime example I can really give because it's one of our biggest events ever done, and it's very high traction. The new threat, an event where it was the Helldivers going into a large battlefield, not knowing what the hell is going on, not knowing what the mission is, just knowing that there were civilians on the field at one point that they needed to rescue. It led into an hour-long fight against automatons in all different shapes and sizes, leading into the second hour, which was the gigantic reveal of the huge mech dropping into the scene like a cinematic movie. Then the real event began, going into having everyone turn into different tanks, vehicles from Helldiver lore, having the Helldivers get bigger weaponry like recoilless rifles and laser guns. And not only that, but the automatons also scaled the difficulty with the mech actually releasing gunships, aka other players being NPCs, where they try to shoot down the most important Helldivers, leading into the mech's overall defeat. And now we're it led to a point where we want to actually redo it a third time because that many people want to do it again, especially the
Hell
new
yeah.
players coming in for this year.
Oh hell yeah, that's what's up. That sounds cool. Like I'm gonna love looking over all this footage and stuff. If you have footage from some of the previous versions of the event,
Oh, yeah, yeah. The main version that I'm talking about, 12,000 views on YouTube. I can 100% have it on screen.
yeah,
We'll
one
love the
thousand.
show. Just the giant mech drop down.
Oh, 1000%. Post editor, you got a lot of work to do. Sorry, but no, it's really cool that like you get to do these type of events and people are genuinely interested. Because as we all know, when it comes to communities and stuff, it definitely it definitely shows how much work goes into these events. When it comes to like the avatars and the extra effects and animations and all that type of stuff. It's definitely a cool thing, and not to mention you getting people constantly enjoying it, and the new players want to experience similar situations. So I guess kind of to in that regard, for like these set events, like how many players do you normally get like in total?
35 to 50.
Oh wow, no, fair enough.
Yeah.
Now, do you have like most are these
Sometimes we
including? Oh, go ahead,
hmm.
go ahead.
No. I was like, usually these include for specifically PC as well. We do 35 to 45. We noticed, but sometimes when those big events go down, 60 plus. It's insane how many people want to try this type of stuff.
Awesome. No, that's really cool. So I guess kind of to kind of a question in that regard then, since you guys have so many players, what are some issues? Because obviously, when it comes to those bigger instances, some issues happen, whether it's lag or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, yeah.
What are some of the things you guys do to combat some of those issues, or maybe
Well,
what are
very the
some of the
most
issues?
simple and the biggest issue is keeping the line held. And what I mean by that is having the role play stay consistent throughout the entirety of the event. Because obviously, some people are going to want to power trip, some people are going to be in a
Hmm.
scenario where they aren't calling their shots, whatever it may be. And the fix to that is just have a bunch of players, called obviously Dungeon Masters, take control of the scene. Have them fly around, call hits, make sure everything's running smoothly on both sides. And for the automaton specifically, we have one major DM and two side DMs. Both of them have their own teams where they control, with the main DM guiding through everything within the roleplay.
Oh, that's what's up. No, that's cool. That you guys have staff that directly check things to make sure things are going how they're supposed to. That's cool. Um, so I guess kind of to because you kind of also mentioned like the whole people not calling their shots thing. How often does that happen? And you know, how easy is it for people to kind of be like, oh, yep, nope, this is what happened, and then they follow it? I guess is my question.
Okay, so we are starting a brand new thing in 2025 where we have a specific DM called an Angel of Death. We tried it in the before, but we never really escalated it to where it has to be dominant. And this Angel of Death, very simple, has a full-on model. Either it's for the automaton side or the Helldiver side, where it can just drop bombs on people.
Mm.
There's this GIF actually. Even funny enough, in one of the videos, there's a GIF we have in the Discord where one of the situations actually happened. So the admin response was to send a 500-kilogram bomb on a Hulk to tell them that he's dead because he was going too far in the actual scene. And over the months, obviously, we've improved, but there will always be that issue because we have brand new players who've never done roleplay. It's not the fact that they are doing it on purpose. It's just the fact that we have players that are completely new to the roleplay scene that's never actually done live action before. I mean, our group is trying to make it where it's an opening space to start learning live action. Especially since most of us were brand new at the start as well, so we had no idea how we were doing things. But now that we have a prominent idea how to do stuff, and we're currently about to go in our second year in February, it's been quite well in terms of escalating and making things better for the group.
Oh, hell yeah, that's what's up. New players, learn the thing, and then they teach newer players the thing. That's what's up. That's really cool.
Indeed.
So I, out of curiosity, because you kind of go back a little bit because you did kind of talk about how you guys recruit people and stuff. So out of curiosity, because not like HorrorCon or like Project Community, but like in general, when you guys go to like these instances and plop down this booth, like what worlds do you guys go to, and like how does that start essentially?
Okay, so dominant, most prominent area is the pug. I would assume most groups usually go there. Very dominant PC space. Everyone there is chilling, and you have these Helldivers coming in out of nowhere. And if it's the right time and the right people, the full lobby can commit to the bit, and you have a full lobby of people interested. We've done that before as well, which is the full lobby of like 50 people are just getting prepared for democracy-ridden justice. And then we have lobbies where nobody's messing with it. Nobody's doing anything, and we just have the booth there, and it's just me and my 4 friends just having fun on our own end. And people obviously get curious, they come up, and we describe the shtick to them, and they like what they hear, so they try it out.
Hell yeah, no, fair enough. Well, that's really cool that you guys are, going out into the great pug instances and making your headway in that regard too. No, that's really cool. So I guess kind of to go into the aspect, of growth. So with your events, do you think there will ever be a point to where you guys are maxing out instances, and then some people are going to be like, oh, well, I couldn't experience this event, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, do you think there'll be like repeats for, maybe, I guess like a second?
There will always be repeats. Yeah, there will always, just literally, perfect example, the new threat. We're planning to do that 3rd time. And how we're actually handling that is expanding on the event. So, for example, the new threat on the 1st time was just the giant mech and some of the automaton models that Electric made. But then the 2nd time, we grew it with brand new models that was not in the last event, like the Fallen. Some of the automaton tanks were changed, upgraded, all the shits and giggles. And then we have the new version, which we're planning to probably do sometime later in January or February, which will have a special variation of the automaton tanks called the Golden Guardians, which are these really buffed up beefcake style tanks with unique fire rates, different abilities, all that stuff, but it also has unique weaknesses. And then on the Helldiver side, not only do we have way crazier models for them because people like to get creative, but we also have Helldiver 1 tanks, APCs, motorcycles, everything under the sun you could imagine, just going against this giant mech. And it's goons.
No, fair enough. That's what's up. I'll definitely be interested in at least trying at least one of the events just to see what it's like. As well as hopefully, some other listeners as well. Join the Helldivers.
Yeah, you want to fight for democracy?
No, okay, it's a small tangent, but it is a funny one. So obviously, and for I guess those of my listeners that don't know, I do stream on Twitch. So there's an extension on Twitch called Tangia. And
Yeah.
viewers can use either channel points or bits to redeem certain effects on the screen and all sorts of stuff. And if I find a clip of it, I'll put it here on the video. If not, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But there's a Tangia redeem that I think I have it set to like a couple. I think like maybe 100, 200 bits or something. But if they redeem it, it literally it's the complete intro for Helldivers. Where he like pulls the
That's
screen down.
great.
He pulls the screen down. And he's like snaps. He's like,
Oh yeah.
"This is Helldivers." Like, and it's the entire thing, and it completely like distracts the Twitch chat, and completely distracts me from whatever I'm doing. It's a goofy thing. It's that's probably the only reason why I know what Helldiver even is because of that redeem.
It's because of the propaganda. All those trailers, all of that propaganda. It's literally how PlayStation and Arrowhead do their advertising, and they really went off the ballpark with this one. Especially since the previous game, Helldivers 1, not many people knew about it. I mean, you have people in the Discord who never heard of Helldivers 1. Like, they thought Helldivers 2, like, the first game was completely different. They didn't even know that there was a first game, some people. And in my Discord, I've only known, like, 6 people so far that actually pre-ordered Helldivers 2 because they do have Helldivers 1. Like, this game's marketing is some of the craziest in terms of getting people to try out the game. And we took that idea and we just went with it. Just insane marketing, models, videos, everything in terms of VRChat.
No, fair enough. I mean, yeah, run with it, honestly. Like, you guys have the means to, especially with VRChat being an infinite, possibility, well, within limits.
Yeah, within limits.
Yeah, you got, place booth on an avatar. You can do world constrained posters, and you have stickers now, emotes, prints now. You have prints. You could literally pass out propaganda now. Like,
oh, God.
Hello, everyone. Just want to pause the episode real quick. I want to thank you all so much for watching this far. If you are interested in doing some of the events and other things that are up and coming, make sure to join the VRC group, the Noved Squad VRC group at NOVED.6608, as well as go check out some of my other socials. We have Blue Sky, Twitter, all that type of stuff. So make sure you go check all that out. Want to thank you all so much for watching. Let's get back into the episode. Woo! I mean, to be fair, there's a couple communities, including my own, that we have advertisements like for the Noved Squad and for the podcast, and people aren't PC, but they see a bunch of people gathering around the booth. Well, here's exactly what we're talking about. Here's what it looks like. just get a PC.
Makes sense.
But no,
just take it. Just
take it.
Yeah, just take it.
Well, that's it's definitely an interesting thing when it comes to the whole advertising thing. Well, I guess kind of going into that category a little bit and also backtracking at the same time. So you guys have been around for a little bit. So because we talked about the whole different metaverse IPs and whatnot. So I guess out of curiosity, have you guys done any like collaboration events with any other PvP communities yet, or is that something in the future?
Okay, I'll never forget this because I want to do this again so badly, but obviously their group is very busy. If you ever heard of One Shot VRP before, we back then was a very silly little community, and they were preparing a Malevelon Creek Helldivers event. So, apparently, someone in One Shot heard about our group starting up, and actually doing crazy battles, like what Haven wanted to see. So, he invited us to do a collaboration with them for having people attend the One Shot VRP. And it was some of the most craziest, most batshit insane stuff you could possibly ever experience in VRChat. Just custom vehicles, custom tanks at the time. The whole scene was legitimately Malevelon Creek in VRChat, and he is currently busy with his own thing, but I do hope he releases the Malevelon Creek map at some point, so we can really try to recreate stuff like that with our new models, because, again, that was literally in April.
Fair enough. No, that's really cool. I didn't know that you guys have already done some collaboration. Have you done any other collaborations, or is that like the only one?
I mean, we've done We've done stuff with Cerberus. We've done stuff with a funny little maid cafe, hilariously enough. We've done just overall hangouts with other groups. Nothing too crazy. Other than that, we're not crazy with collaboration because we don't know the groups out there. Again, we're new, so we're still learning the groups that are dominant and prominent and are actually willing to try stuff out with us.
No, fair. And I can tell you from experience, most communities, at least when it comes to the role play and PvP side, are very open to collaboration. I know some of the ones I've talked to on the podcast they're pretty open when it comes to collaboration, whether it's a casual event or a full-fledged event.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's always chance for collaboration and even inspiration in that regard. I guess, kind of out of curiosity, if there was one, at least right now, as we're recording this episode, is there one particular community or branding of PvP roleplay that you guys would be like the most interested in collaborating with?
Okay. So about PvP, we're not too sure about that because we don't do PvP. We do actually do live action. So when it comes to PvP, we've actually done in the past. We've put people from PvP into live action roleplay, vice versa. But we're not too crazy about PvP. We like to do the theater type based stuff. But if it was to do a PvP group, probably United Reunion or the Star Wars group, United Reunion, I believe it's called.
United Republic?
Can't think straight right now. The Republic, right. I swear Ghost is gonna kill me with that. But yeah, United Republic, I would love to do something with them in the future, just because it's fun. Lasers, bada boom. But other than that, we haven't really delved into the PvP scene yet. Mainly just we're expanding more into the live action than we really think.
No, I gotcha. And that's really cool in that aspect. Have you guys ever thought about like maybe going into that just to kind of test the waters a little bit?
There are so many people that ask me if we're gonna try PvP at one point. Coming from the Warhammer days, because I used to do Alpha Legion. I don't think so. Just because while PvP is fun, don't get me wrong, you can't really act out. Like you can't really you really can't see when somebody's actually hurting. Like, obviously, you flop on the ground, you're dead. But having that aspect of people actually purposely being hurt, getting shot, screaming, actually begging for help, it's a horrific yet very intense experience where our whole shtick is improv. We want to make sure improv is very dominant in our role plays, where people actually have to figure out, hey, do we leave this person left alive or dead, or do we help them try to stay alive, or do we run this way, that way? What's the scenario to get the best outcome?
No, fair enough. And I guess that goes to show that you guys are more live action role play rather than PvP, which is actually kind of a good thing. Because there's a lot of both. There's a lot of role plays. There's a lot of PvP. So kind of stick to one is fine. But hey, you never know. You might always change your mind in the future and do like a little sector of PvP.
I don't really know. If PvP expands even more than what I'm thinking next year, then maybe. But for now, we're just gonna continue what we're doing.
No, that's fair. Well, that's cool. I'll say, I guess, kind of to, kind of off the whole collaboration side of things, but, more into the Helldivers type of things. So, what is something from the Helldivers series that you guys are wanting to bring into VR that maybe, hasn't been done yet?
Illuminate. Illuminate and Terminid. Surprisingly, there's not much Terminid. You'd be surprised. I mean, the game came out long ago, but there is barely any Terminid models. There's way more automatons, not even from us, just there's a lot more automaton models than there is anything else. And there's a lack of Helldiver models as well. Sure, there's a lot of customs, but there's not too many that are unique. I mean, you have the standard Liberator and other things, but that's really all it's going for in terms of Helldiver models. I mean, you do have a guy named Commissar Ocean that's been just dropping the ball with different types of unique models, and he's actually currently working with us for one of our custom units. But 100%, we're currently wanting to see Illuminate and more Terminid, but we're going to probably be working on that this year.
Fair enough. And I guess kind of for the general listening audience who might not know Helldivers, you might have to explain what exactly those are.
Okay, so imagine Terminids as giant bugs. They are rowdy, they're crowding, and they like to hunt, just vigorously in groups. You have the automatons, which are just straight up machines. They are machines that are built to kill and work for a group within Cyberstan, which is their home planet. And then you have the Illuminate, which is little lore drop, a faction that was once a very peaceful faction that actually wanted to do world peace for Super Earth, but Super Earth actually denied them because they had planet-destroying weaponry and wanted it for themselves, leading into the first Galactic War with them. But now that they're back, because of a black hole they did with the exact bomb, or actually not even exact bomb, specific oil on that planet Meridia, so that black hole just brought the Illuminated back.
Fair enough. No, that's. I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of lore when it comes to the Helldivers stuff. So if you don't know,
yeah, I can't remember anything on top of my head right now.
I'm trying to think like the best example to explain Helldiver lore. But if the post editor finds anything explaining Helldiver lore, we'll pop a fucking thing right here. Go check that out.
Yeah.
And then come back to this episode. But
yeah.
But no, that's really cool that you guys are, essentially keeping to the canon side of things when it comes to that. It's also really cool, like how much you guys are doing in this regard, because it's not easy, to say the least. It does take it takes a team to do all this stuff. I'll say as you and I both know. So I guess kind of in that regard, because there's a lot of things when it comes to making these things happen. What was probably the hardest thing in your opinion when it comes to like the community and the events? What was like the hardest thing to get started for you guys?
Figure out what we wanted to do. As I say it in my videos and other people, how we started. This started as a shitpost group because I beat my friend in Infection Reborn. Literally, that's how it started. And we started it up. We got people to do audience anarchy. We just had a fun time. And then it just grew to a point where it went just crazy in VRChat. Everyone wanted to try it out, see what we did. And then we got people that were model makers, map makers, and they joined in the cause. And then now they're part of my admin team. And we just been expanding the group ever since, leading into a massive roster of model makers, admins, DMs, and just NPCs that do a lot of stuff for the community.
I gotcha. No, that's really cool. And I didn't even know you guys used Audience Anarchy. That's a really cool. Did you guys use the freestyle one, or did you use the regular like Audience Anarchy one?
Oh god, we had multiple game nights at the beginning where we just straight up just said, hey, come do Audience Anarchy with the Helldivers. Do this with the Helldivers. With the Helldivers was our gimmick back then. Before we just started really being our own little creativity of roleplay. After all that, we actually stopped doing Audience Anarchy. It was a rule, actually, funny enough, as a joke. No Audience Anarchy, because we did it so much to get people that were actually intrigued with the group. Because we thought Audience Anarchy would have role players, because there's an acting thing. It kind of makes sense in the brain.
Right.
And it mostly worked for our factor.
Fair enough. So I guess, because are you guys still doing like normal, like, okay, I shouldn't say normal. Are you guys doing like kind of those type of events still, like when it comes to like with the Helldivers, or do you guys kind of more focus?
Very rarely.
Very rarely.
Yeah, no, very rarely. Very rare. Actually, funny enough, we just did some game nights around Christmas time. We did Audience Anarchy, and it was a blast. And we might do some more casual nights at a time, because our main events are only Friday, Saturday. But for now, we're just looking what's on the table for everybody, what works, what doesn't. And we're kind of in a new era of just trying to figure out what could we do to revolutionize Milsim and Warsim.
No, fair enough. I was going to say, if you guys are still doing events like that on a semi-normal basis, I would love to see you guys do like a fucking, like a prison escape with the Helldivers, or like a Deagle duel with the Helldivers.
We've done a prison escape, actually, where it was Helldivers in prison versus automaton guards, and they were all guarded up, and it was just the Helldivers to basically not escape, but to kill them all, because we were just going around being silly. And then we did the opposite. We did unique game. It was really fun.
Hell yeah. Well, I'll say, yeah, and have you guys, because I guess one of the questions I should ask, are you guys, Is it like a Quest compatible group, or is it more PC only?
Okay. Best part about the group, in my opinion, because I had to force my friends to agree with me on this, and now it works. In the beginning, it was very they had to trust me type moment, but it is a Quest and PC community. We do every other week. We do Quest PC and PC only. For example, this week it's going to be Quest and PC for both days. Well, not both days, but PC is going to be Quest only. Sorry.
You good?
Saturday's going to be PC only. Friday's going to be Quest and PC. And then next week, we're going to start our schedule where it's both events going to be PC only. Next week's going to be Quest and PC. And then we continue that schedule throughout the year.
Hell yeah. No, that's
so
cool.
everybody gets a chance to try stuff out. Because there are some really insanely good Quest role players. I don't know how they do it with no sound. Like, insane role players.
Oh yeah, so you can't bow out the Quest players when it comes to roleplay. I know quite a few role
Them
players.
Questies go hard.
Questies do go hard, especially when it comes to roleplay, because that it means they have more to live up to, and they become more serious about it.
They have more dedication.
Right? No, it's definitely a crazy thing in that regard. So I guess kind of to go into that a little bit more. So with you having kind of like a bi-weekly like PC only, and then you have the, as you were kind of saying, does one particular event have more? Like, does the Quest side have more? Does the PC side have more? Like, what are kind of some of the statistics?
Okay. Very surprisingly, they're kind of both the same. And even then, I've noticed in our roleplays, there's very little Quest people. And the Quest people that do show up are really damn good. But you'd be surprised. I would think, hey, more Quest players because Quest is very dominant. But even then, there's barely any Quest players. Maybe that's just, we always recruit in Great Pug, so maybe that's the case. But even then, like, in our Discord, actually, if I check, like, we have a full role for people that actually pick yourself in terms of what you are. We have a very dominant 622 to 269 ratio for PC to Quest. So our group is mainly PC, but there are all those specific Quest players that are very dedicated to what we do, and we're very happy that the Quest players are actually willing to put way more dedication with the limitations that the Quest has to experience what we got to offer.
Hell yeah. No, that's what's up. No, that's really cool that you guys are, starting to grow that side of things. Yes, yeah, Great Pug might not be the best for Quest players because obviously they can't go there. But
we still offer the experience,
right? Of course,
I just like to have fun. Honestly, I'm one of those owners that are just, hey, whatever happens, happens. Let's just have some fun.
No, for sure.
Because I'm bored. I literally all I do is fish and play /co. And I already know you did Manti way back when, and I love that guy. And I just play /co and fish, and that's literally all I do other than run Helldiver events.
Fair enough. Well, yeah, kind of. I mean, because I feel like we've covered quite a lot of the community side of things, unless if there's anything crucial that I'm missing. But I was gonna say, well, we'll come back. I was like, kind of go more into your aspect of things.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna bring up the fact that you, for the longest time, as far as I've known you, you always had like something regarding like the greatest something of /co or something always in your statuses.
Oh, oh my God! I have a whole subplot to tell you about that.
Go for it.
Okay, so if you played /co recently or a little bit ago, you might have noticed a /diver poster in the lobby.
I think
that's my group
that, yeah.
as well.
Oh, nice.
We do obviously moderated /co lobbies with the whole funny Helldiver went /co aesthetic, and I am close obviously with the devs, and I love to mess with them and the community, and we just have an overall time. We had an event actually in December. /co bingo. So we are just trying to figure out what to do with that, while I also have my main group to run. So it's kind of like, ooh, we got so much to run. It's really good occupation and time consuming, but I think it's just overall a fun time.
Fair enough.
Standable moment.
Standable moment. Oh, so you guys use standable.
I love standable. Yeah, no, I love standable.
No, fair enough. Well, that's awesome, man. I would say, it's definitely cool to see like all the things you do in that regard. Because I see you around the ballpark every now and then, like whether it's in the friends list, just chilling there, and I see something Slash Co related or something like that. And I've played Slash Co a few hands of times, and yeah, like you had said, we did have Manti on the podcast, which amazing person, by the way. Manti, if you ever see this, much
Geek
love to you,
guy.
homie. Yeah,
Hi,
because
Manti.
but I would say he had put my poster. We did a poster swap, and
I
my
did. Yes, I've seen it.
yeah, was super thankful for that. Um, and I think still, I'd have to look at it, but I think to this day, when it comes to the Spotify, I believe he still ranks my number one episode when it comes to Spotify and YouTube side. That might change because I know some episodes have been getting up there in the ranks. Um, but I know a lot of
Mhm.
people love Slash Go, and getting to meet Manti was probably one of the coolest things. Super chill dude. He's a vibe. He's a vibe. Um, but
Pretty much.
I'll say yeah, man. I'll say so. In because kind of off of the Helldiver side of things, but more into your side of things. So you kind of mentioned that you do fishing and Slash Co. So one of the things I wanted to ask in that regard, so what is one of the most weirdest things that you've seen on VRChat, whether it's a world or an avatar?
One of the weirdest things I've seen in VRChat. Um, huh. Crazy enough, I haven't seen much, but there was this one avatar in our Helldivers group. We were in a pug, casually chilling, doing our recruiting sessions. There was a Hatsune Miku avatar with a little Domino's hat, and they had the Helldiver autocannon combo fit on. And we're staring at them. We're like, Hatsune Miku? And they were just staring at us with the autocannon. And I'm just like, what are you doing here? Because we'd never seen them before. Going in the show, like, there is so much more models we do not know exist. Because we also have currently just some random models, some funny models. We have that little the face tracking face guy. We have that specific asset on a Helldiver body.
Oh
We
wow!
saw in the pug as well a little while ago. It's a lot. It's a lot of just mainly Helldiver stuff I've seen that's kind of crazy. But there are obviously the crazy experiences in the fishing world where you have people just being silly, role playing as like the most crazy. We had a whole medieval like night gang just fish at one point.
But no, that's what's up. It's really cool to see like some of the things that you're doing on a normal basis rather than fully focusing on things, because at the end of the day we're all people, right? We're not
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
not machines. We're people that not only do what we enjoy to do, but we also do other things, and that's one of the things I like to showcase when it comes to these creators and community leaders, because at the end of the day we're all people. you know um I guess kind of one of the things in that regard. Um so when it comes to personal, this is a little bit more on the personal side rather than the community side.
Yeah, yeah.
What is something that when you from when you first started to, let's say, now, when it comes to VR chat, what is something that you will never like let down, or something that like essentially inspired you to keep playing VR chat? I know you said kind of the role play community, but outside of like the community side of things.
Outside the community, just how unique VRChat is. The amount of people you meet, everyone's unique in their own way, and that's what I like to see in terms of just people being unique, whether it's models. Actually, it's how I actually met my partner. They make the most unique stuff, and I am now currently dating them with about almost 2 years under the belt, and we met in person. And it's just been a ballpark because now I just have this crazy friend group from people who make really unique models and have unique personalities. And in my opinion, that's what makes me keep on going in VR chat.
No, fair enough. Um, well, that's awesome, man. I mean, unfortunately we are running a little bit out of time. It's surprisingly we've already almost gone to an hour. um,
Happens.
uh, but yeah, no. So I guess is there anything before we kind of cue it out and stuff? Is there anything in regards to like the Helldivers community that we may not have talked about? That is essentially like a crucial thing when it comes to Helldivers.
Not more or less the hell, just the fact that in terms of why I keep on playing VRChat, the fact that this group is a safe space for many people. It's a space for people genuinely are like me. They stay on VRChat because of the group. I've heard that before, and it makes me like cry up a little bit whenever I think like, hey, people actually enjoy their time here, and it shows from the DMs saying it to the admins to random people that I never met before. They just like what we do, and I want to continue doing that in terms of this year, and probably God knows how long we're going to keep it going for.
No, fair enough. And congrats, and first and foremost, on getting to that point that people feel safe within your community. Not a lot of people openly admit that to some extent, and not to mention, especially with, I don't know, it's definitely a heartwarming feeling, in that regard. And hearing the stories of how VR chat and communities inside of VR chat change people's lives, it's definitely an amazing thing, when it comes to that. And eventually down the line, you know, hopefully that part of that VR chat is more shown, compared to like
Hopefully.
compared to some of the other content that we see on recovering VR chat. Knock on wood. Um, but that's a subtle foreshadowing for a future 2025 project. But that's for later. Y'all have to wait for that one. Announcements will be soon. But no, Josette, dude, thank you so much for coming on. It was a blast getting to kind of know you and stuff, and kind of learning more about the Helldivers. So I guess, since we are ending it off, I do want to give you a chance to essentially tell the audience where they can find you, any links you want on screen in the description, all that type of stuff. But yeah, floor is yours. Go ahead and take it away.
If you want to see some of our mini movies and basically what we like to do in general, you can follow our YouTube, aka King408, my personal channel, where I make full-on half-hour mini movies and just overall silly little bits. And also, you can check out the Discord and the VR chat group. Other than that, not much else to say, my friend.
Fair enough. And yeah, make sure to go check out all the links. All of them will be down in the description as well. But yeah, thank you all, ladies, gentlemen, everybody inside and outside the ballpark for listening or watching, depending on what platform you're on. Make sure to go check out all of Josette and the Helldivers links. Like I said, all in the description. But of course, if you enjoyed what we talked about, feel free to smack that like button. Comment down below. What's your favorite moment in Helldivers games?
Wait. One more thing. Before. Hold on. One more thing before. I don't know if the camera's gonna show it. I gotta do the. I gotta do the salute. Always.
Fair enough.
We always end things here.
You're a little bit too tall, but it got most of you.
I got most of it. We'll take it.
Well, fair enough, my friend. But yeah, comment down below. What's your favorite part about the Helldivers series, Helldivers games? And of course, make sure to go check out the community. Like I said, all the links, I said it 3 times now, but the links will be down in the description. Go check it out in the Hoobly Watsits before I have a stroke. But of course, with that, if you are coming back to come check out some of the other episodes, why not hit that subscribe button? You're already coming back anyway. But with that, I want to thank you all one last time for watching, listening, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care and peace. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Noved Notes.